Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, we're back. My name is Scott Wilkinson. I'm a professional body piercer. Over here we have...
I'm Kelsey Kakos, and I'm also a professional body piercer.
And the person you can't see behind the camera is Mr. Nova.
Hello, everybody. How are you today?
So, last week we, was it last week we had APP? It was about a week ago, yeah. It was pretty amazing. Association of Professional Piercers.
Week before last.
It's like a couple weeks, yeah.
Yep.
We've been so busy. Oh, that's right, because we got done and we didn't have time to do. Anyways, we're back, and it's good to have you guys back with us. We're taking a bunch of questions today, so if you have any piercing questions, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. Ask thorough questions. If you don't ask a thorough question, we can't give you a thorough answer. This is the way it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a few people in here. Dan Rogers says, hey.
What's up, Dan?
Badasaba 3 says, hi, Scott. How you doing?
Throwing condensation.
Jasper, a piercer, asks, hey, guys, are you ever open to piercer guest spots?
Kind of, not really. So we are, but generally when I do a guest spot, it's for a permanent spot in our location. So if we're looking for a piercer, we'll hook up some sort of a guest spot. But unless a piercer really goes on vacation or something, we don't really have a lot of spaces to actual fill. So that's the reason why we can't really do a guest spot unless someone actually leaves. But, you never know. So give us some information if you're interested in hitting us up, and you never know what the future holds.
Would it ever be possible, like we would go to conference and maybe we would have somebody covering during the week of conference that isn't going?
Possibly. It kind of depends because we don't have other counter people, so they'd be completely by themselves.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends on who's left behind and if things would work. You never know. You never know. If maybe I might make that work next year. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Yep.
Pirelli said, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up, Pirelli?
Chloe Fernandez says, hi. Monica Peterson, hi from Poland, guys. Hey, Monica.
From Poland.
Oh.
Cool. Hi, Monica.
Dan Rogers says, what size would you recommend for a labret piercing, as I'm getting mine done next month? I'm from the UK, and the last time they put one in that was too big and kept getting stuck in the gap of my teeth.
Too long?
Yeah, it sounds like maybe it was just a little too long. Typically, we would pierce, depending on the anatomy, but on normal average labret piercing, 16 gauge 3/8 or 7/16.
Generally. Kind of depends on the thickness of the lip. Mm-hmm. If you're talking thickness, that's a 16 gauge.
Of course.
Yeah, don't do too small because they'll get sucked right into the back of the lip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it has to be long for the initial swelling, and then generally I say 3 to 4 weeks, closer to the month, you should downsize and put that shorter post in there. Once you put the shorter post in there, it's going to pull it away from your teeth and all that fun stuff. But if you don't put the long one in there, you get sucked right into your lip, and that's not the way you want to start your day. No.
Don't want that. I have a question for you guys, actually. So what's your take on doing oral stuff at 14 as opposed to 16? Do you think there's any benefit to it, or as far as like stability reasons, or negligible?
You're talking gauge, not age, correct?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes and no. I mean, most people want smaller, more dainty jewelry. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted a smaller gem, you can't have a really thick post because the post is going to be the same thickness as the gem at that point. So 16 seems to be the most common size where you can support fairly small jewelry and at the same time still being safe where you don't cause that cheese cutter effect. Right. Sometimes if you're using like an 18 gauge, if people have 18 gauge ring or a stud, it can rip and tear so much easier. And it's just, I think there's actually a physical comfort level too. I don't know if you've ever worn anything that thin in an oral piercing, but it's just that you can tell. You can really tell. And 16 gauge is the minimum. I think 14 is even a little bit more comfortable, but you're also limited on the gem size too. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't do like I guess you couldn't on 16 gauge either, but hard to do like a 3 mil or a 2.5 mil.
Correct.
14.
And the thing is threadless jewelry is pretty universal as far as 16 gauge, 18 gauge, 14 gauge, even 12 gauge. But when you're doing threaded jewelry, the gems aren't interchangeable between a 16 gauge and a 14 gauge. So that's kind of one of the issue. And so if you're only doing threaded jewelry, you have a lot more options in 16 gauge as you do a 14 gauge. So that's also another reason why 16 is generally more popular than 14, because threaded jewelry was like the only option for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And it just set the standard.
It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, hey, let's do a cheers to everyone out there. If you're drinking something, whether it's coffee, water, whiskey, beer, it don't matter to us. Cheers to you. Thanks for being here. We love you all.
Cheers. Awesome. I'm going to keep it going. We got a lot of questions
God, I
today.
love my coffee.
I got royal Thai tea today.
Fancy.
It tastes like Thai tea, but like it has butter in it.
A stick of butter in there?
It is. I tried
It's
some.
buttery.
It is
It's
buttery.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Nummy. I
Absolutely.
like a strong, bitter Americano over ice. On the rocks.
There you go.
On the rocks.
On the rocks. Yeah, I haven't been doing my crack coffee lately. I should probably get back to it, but
Probably, because I mean,
no, I like to put a little milk in it. And I haven't had my Fairlife, so
okay.
unfortunate. But yeah, we'll get back to it soon. All right, Bodhisaba3 asks, first question. I have had my lip pierced a while ago, and it healed up, and it is scarred. I want to get it re-pierced. Thoughts?
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Try to minimize the scarring. I generally tell people wait at least a month or so, let that scar tissue dissipate. If it's still real dark, discolored, or it feels like you have a large lump in there, you're going to feel a little bit of scar tissue in there. But if it feels really thick and hard, massage it and play with it for a little bit and try to break down the scar tissue before you actually get it re-pierced. It makes it a little bit easier. It's not dangerous. It just works out better.
Mm-hmm.
Hiccups.
Yeah, it just depends on how first set of the day.
Hiccups.
I guess it depends on the scar tissue, though. You know, if you're the type of person that was like constantly playing with your lip piercing, pulling the jewelry in and out, or rotating rings, and just causing a bunch of trauma to it. I mean, definitely try to break down the scar tissue as much as you can, but it really just depends. But you can still pierce through the same tube of scar tissue that's there and heal a piercing just fine. So go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, I want to point something out here. You're wearing different earrings.
I am.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you got to check these out. She got some new saddles at APP. These things are epic.
From Oracle.
They're beautiful.
They're black pearl.
And there's something new on the other ear, too.
Oh, and this one. I got this.
Oh, we gotta get-
gorgeous piece from Ember Body Arts. Thanks,
Yes.
Ryan. Love you so much.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is insanely beautiful. in
My
person.
daughter calls it the princess earring.
It is the princess earring.
Because we're princesses.
Yeah, Kelsey and I both got new. I got like an entire new nose setup from Ember this year, which we're going to be taking some good pictures of. Ryan is local from Ember Body Piercing and Ember Jewelry. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Even if he wasn't like my friend, I would say that Ember Jewelry's designs are just, for me at least, a cut above the rest. They're so attractive.
They're definitely more elegant.
Yeah, truly.
They're unbelievable. So
Elegant, dainty, the cuts of the gems as well as the opals, and just the designs in general. It's just the selection is so much more
Ember
vast than
Body
most
Jewelry.
companies.
Look it up. Look
Yeah,
it up.
for sure.
Ember Body Jewelry.
Yeah.
Yep. And not all of them are dainty. I got these.
Hi, Ryan.
Oh yeah, hi Ryan. I got these giant things for my nostrils. So yeah, they're pretty. They can get
Gorgeous.
thick.
Yes.
They can get thick.
Mhm.
All right. Let's keep it rolling. Lexi Ethington says, "Hi, my toddler headbutt my double helix. Treat it like a new piercing since it's sore? Or
Ouch.
business as usual. I've had them about 2 years."
Yep.
Yep.
There's a small chance you might have swelled up quite a bit, and if you over swelled in the disc or the beads are getting sucked in, you might need to put a longer post in there. But yeah, just try to keep the swelling down. If you bled, go back to some sort of a wound wash just to try to minimize those crusties and whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be sore for a little bit,
Absolutely.
and get better at your dodging.
Dodging
diving.
headbutts.
I forgot what all the D's of dodgeball were. Duck, dive.
Duck, dive, dip,
Duck, dive, dip, dodge.
Or no, it's duck, dive. Dip.
Let us know in the comments.
I remember dodge is in there twice.
But anyways, avoid the headbutts. Yeah.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Damaris says, "Hi guys, I'm happy to see you again.
Hi, Damaris.
Hello.
Matsberg, hello, from Gothenburg in Sweden. I'm not sure what's the right way to pronounce it.
I like
That's such a
Gothenburg.
cool sounding
Gothenburg.
city.
Yeah,
Gothenburg.
On a visit.
I think it's Gothenburg. but,
Gothenburg. Either way, it sounds cool.
yeah, it is.
What's up? Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Mats. Pirelli asking about the YouTube piercing appointment. He said, I saw that it was on your site, but it's not set up yet. When will you activate this feature? So we're going to be doing that pretty soon.
We
right?
were waiting for APP to kind of finish up and kind of get things in. All the camera stuff seems to be up and working, but it was just a matter of scheduling and with me trying to move the shop. It's a lot of work. It's coming up real soon in the next week or two, I hope.
Yeah. Fridays with Scott are going to be
Sundays.
Sunday.
Isn't it Sundays?
Sundays.
Yep, Sundays.
Sorry.
Sundays.
Oh, yeah,
Sunday,
because
Sunday.
I'm not going to. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Sundays with Scott are going to be just YouTube days. We're going to be recorded being pierced, and it's potentially going to be posted on YouTube.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
Sure, and yeah, we have a lot of other big news coming from the shop that we'll be talking about here pretty soon. Scott, I don't know how far you want to go into it, but
We're growing a little bit. I think we might have found some more family members.
yes,
That's
yes,
as far
yes,
as I
yes.
can go.
That
I
is as
can't
far as
say
we can
anything
go.
else, but we're growing.
Yes, we are.
Surprise.
Yes, we are. We're very.
I am
very
not
excited.
having another baby.
Yeah, that's a good clarification.
Just to clear things up.
Yeah. I might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm having a baby. Awesome. Dan Rogers said, "Thanks for the great advice, buddy."
Yeah, absolutely.
Anna Lee Smith says, "Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Good.
Good.
The question I would like to ask is, how long do high nostril piercings take to heal? Forever. No, I'm just kidding.
Feels like forever. Yeah, you're looking at like 4 to 6 months. It really depends on the person, how well you take care of them. Everything, essentially, I guess, that goes with getting those piercings done. But yeah, they take minimum like a year.
Hey, Nova, do you have any advice?
Yeah, as somebody who just pulled his high nostrils, I would suggest not leaving them in when you go to do combat sports is probably a good plus.
That's a good one.
The biggest thing, though, is make sure that you downsize on time.
Yes.
Downsizing. Sorry.
It's so important. We talk about it. We tell our clients all the time. I am my own worst client. And I didn't downsize my high nostrils, and they had irritation bumps, kept getting them. As soon as they started to go down, I was like, oh, I'll downsize them next week or something. And then they would get hit, irritation bump would happen again, and I believe it was the left one actually started healing at an incorrect angle. So at that point I was just like, okay, I want to pull it because I want to be able to wear something flat.
Yeah.
And if it's not at a perpendicular angle to your nose, really the only things you can wear are like beads or other round things like that. And I have my eye on these. I do have my eye on beads, but they're tri beads or quad beads, also from Ember.
They're pretty cool.
So they are cool.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I've been letting them heal. I'm gonna brave it again here pretty soon. And yeah, it's tough. My high nostrils were doomed from the start though, because literally 2 days after I got them, I got sick, and then like a month after that, I got a sinus infection. So it was.
Oof.
And I remember once or twice you saying, I should probably downsize them because I think the bump's pretty much gone. And then we didn't downsize, and a day or two later, bump pop right back up. And it's like, oh, we missed our window.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
So downsize, super, super important. I had some pretty major issues with mine, actually. One of the first times I did it, we hit an artery. And that's an issue.
Yes.
That's an issue. I bled crazy. It was pulsating and kind of shooting out. So that's
The
why
same thing happened to mine. I was trying to pierce it myself, started going in, but being in the mirror, everything was kind of backwards. So the needle started to come out through like the tip of my nose rather than inside. So my mentor at the time was like, pull the needle out. So I like pulled it out. But as soon as I started like pulling it out, blood started spewing out of the needle. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? He's like, take it out. So I pulled it out and it just kept, it was like everywhere.
You got an artery.
I got an artery.
A little pressure, it stops it. It's not the end of the world, but that was my issue. Keep them a little bit more forward. Don't go too far back to the base because that's when we run into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was also pierced at a 14 gauge. I don't know why I went so big. I know why I went so big. So I'm that guy.
You are that guy.
I'm going to go big or go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we are not trying to steer you away from high nostrils. They are super awesome, and I'm going to try mine again. They're not super. They can be a pain, but they're worth it in my opinion.
They're awkward to get because you're not used to stuff that far up your nose, and it's a little uncomfortable. Once you get used to them, it's not that big of a deal. Just downsize.
Yep.
My second time around, mine healed up fairly well. I think after maybe a month and a half, I downsized and never had any issues.
Yep.
Never, ever. So mine were really easy. It's just getting them done is awkward.
Yep.
Uncomfortable. Not
Healing
awkward,
process.
but uncomfortable.
Healing process kind of sucks a little, but once you get through it, it's worth it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Second time's the charm for me.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan says, hi from California. First time catching alive.
Hi, Jordan.
Sweet.
Welcome in. Glad you made it.
Started watching your channel recently, and I just got a double helix. I'm not sure I understand this. She said horizontal, not vertical. And my tragus pierced last week.
Horizontal, not vertical.
Maybe they.
So just like standard helix piercings?
So I think what she means is rather than like one helix piercing on top of the other, it would be like one on the edge of the ear and one a little farther in, maybe.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Cool. It's like one here and then one a little further in. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. I think that's the
almost
idea.
like a flat in a normal helix.
That would be a good way to
Right
describe
on.
it. For
That's
sure.
what we understand. But either way, whatever you got, congratulations.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Mononoke Mara says, "What's up, guys? So
What
excited
up,
to stop
dude?
by next week."
Sweet.
Yes.
We're
Looking
excited
forward
to see
seeing
you.
So excited.
Damaris chiming in with a question. 1 month, 9 days ago, I went to Scott to do my nipple piercing, and I'm so happy with the job that he did. It never got infected. I didn't really feel too much pain. I was worried, waiting for everything people say. I'm so happy. Thank you, Scott.
You're very, very welcome. It's scary to get a piercing, especially a nipple piercing. And you hear so many horror stories, but you hear more bad stories than the actual good stories.
It's true.
If it was really bad, people wouldn't be getting it done. There's more successful stories out there than not. I mean, so yeah, that's why it's around. You know, if it was less than a 50% chance that things were going to work out for you, people would definitely not be doing it.
Mhm.
But it is successful. And
Agree.
it's so worth it, and you feel so good about yourself. So I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Jordan asks, how can you tell if a piercing is fully healed? I know there are general healing time frames for each piercing, but everyone is different. Is there a way to tell?
If it's been like 3 days, you're good. No, that is not true at all. Not true at all.
You'll know the difference between a fresh healing and healed piercing. Usually there will be no more swelling, no more soreness, no more crusties, no more leakage, no more
Tenderness.
Yeah, I mean it's just there. It's fully healed. Like nothing even happened. Like, yeah.
Because, like, for example, earlobe piercing, your first time you get a piercing, the first week to a month or so, you're going to have a lot of crusties. That's your body forming scabs. You're in the healing process. If they get pulled inside, it's going to sting and hurt. It's definitely not healed. Now, once the crusties are done, if you pulled on that earring a little bit, which I don't suggest you do, but it's going to be like a bruise or a little tender, or you might see a little redness around it. That means it's not fully healed. When you get to the point where you're sleeping on it and you're like, oh, like I can just, pull on it a little bit and there's zero pain, that means you're all the way healed up. Now, every piercing situation is different because some piercings take way longer to heal. Some are done in like 2 months. Some take over a year to heal. So it really varies from person to person. Also, how healthy you are and how much you're hitting on things. So don't sleep on it. Don't touch it. Be healthy.
No twisting, spinning, rotating. Don't put
None of
anything
that.
weird on it.
Yep.
Only things you should really be putting on your piercings is water from the shower and a sterile saline solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Keep it simple.
Or
Keep
take
it clean.
multivitamins. Don't put it directly on the piercing.
Mhm.
Put it in your mouth.
Right. Take the vitamins.
Yeah,
It helps.
generally speaking, like the better your immune system is and the healthier you are, the easier it will be to
Mhm.
heal. Generally speaking.
Exactly.
Yep. Taking immune system boosting vitamins.
Zinc supplements.
Yes.
Yep. those
That
are
work
good.
real good.
They work wonders.
Mats says, I have just read the Piercing Bible. It was a great book to a person who has just begun with piercings.
Yes.
Awesome.
Super, super informative. It really, really breaks everything down. And it's, yeah. Thanks, Elaine.
Mhm.
Elaine Angel made that book, and it's fantastic. Some piercers say it's a little outdated, but it's the only good source of information we truly have right now.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And, techniques come and go, so it's not really outdated. And earlobe piercing, still an earlobe piercing.
Yep.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I read that. I read that book the first week of my apprenticeship. I had a bunch of like homework and reading that Coyote had me do, and the Piercing Bible was the first thing. So and a bunch of mod blog stuff, but
You know, and like I said, you're gonna hear people complaining about it, but everyone has a different idea of how to do, and it's as long as it's done in safe and clean manner, it doesn't really matter. You know, aftercares are gonna change and evolve a little bit. You know, skin prep things do change and evolve, but the most of it's right there. Pretty incredible. But you still need an apprenticeship.
Yes,
This
you
is
do.
not an apprenticeship book where you get in and it's like, oh, I have all the answers. I can do what I need. No, you
I
need
am all
someone
knowing.
to teach you. Yes.
Yes, it's very true. All right. James the Piercer says, "Hey Kelsey, what's the brand name of the guy who makes jewelry for stretched earlobes that you said were super comfy but not silicone?"
Are we talking about wood, the wood ones, or?
I don't know.
So
I would
there's-
guess yes.
Safe products. You mainly wear safe products stuff.
I wear Safe Products, Red Fern Adornments, and his name on Instagram is Copendant or something like that. It's Kopdnt, I believe. He's made a couple of my wood sets super comfortable. He only uses wood that is safe for the body. He processes everything and treats the wood so that, you know, no matter where it goes, they don't like split or have any issues. So there's a couple of different companies that I wear.
Well, as a little disclaimer, with wood plugs, depending on the climate where you're at, sometimes they do need to be re-oiled
Yes,
because
so
wood will dry out.
I do oil my wood plugs.
But if it's made well and waxed and sealed, they work well.
Which this guy's, I had just like a box of jewelry and I've moved like 3 times since wearing any of my wood plugs. And I pulled everything out to put on my shelves when I got my house. And everything was perfectly fine. I had no splits, no cracks, nothing. And they've just been sitting in a Tupperware container for like a year.
There you go. That's awesome.
But we will put them in the information once the video is posted. We will tag the
Add a little link
Instagrams
somewhere.
of of these 3 companies that I go with.
Remind me to do that, please,
Yes,
Kelsey.
I will.
Okay. Awesome. Angie Huamani asks, "Hi guys, what are your favorite anatomy books? Can each of you guys recommend one? Thank you guys. I love the lives. I can start with that. The one that Coyote had me read was just Grey's Anatomy. It was like the original one from the 1800s. I mean, obviously there have been some edition updates and stuff like that. But by Henry Gray, like the guy who he was a doctor back in the day and took people apart and made a book on anatomy, which has been used in the medical community for forever. I don't know if you guys have favorites or if you've read any in particular. Or
personally have never read an anatomy book before. I mean, I've skimmed through stuff. I did take anatomy in high school, but
yeah,
that was really it.
I've owned 4 or 5 different anatomy books because I found some that look a little different pictures. It's been a long time because this was before the internet. So that was our only source of information. So I went through them all. I think they were all versions of Grey's Anatomy, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
Very cool.
A lot of the anatomy studying we do is also like at conference. Like we all usually take classes on specific piercings where they go over
different anatomies.
They go over different anatomies, what to watch out for, that sort of thing. So it's a lot more applied in our context because, you know, for anatomy there isn't we don't need to worry about 99% of the rest of the body other
Correct.
than, you know, the ears, mouth, and nose for the most part. Maybe with obviously some there are some others, genitals, I guess, nipples, that sort of thing. But yeah, a lot of our learning is done through education at the annual APP conference.
Correct. And the thing is like back in the day, we really weren't sure. That's why they call it like the Wild West of piercings. And we were kind of guesstimating. And that's when we had to get the anatomy books to see what was dangerous.
They were just
I've never pierced that part of the ear before. Is there something I need to look out for? Is there an artery? Is there nerves? Is there any sort of, you know, and that's what we would look things up. And nowadays, everything is labeled and established as safe, so we know there's not much in that area. Last time I really had to look through an anatomy book was when I was getting my mandible pierced, which I don't condone, don't recommend at all, and that's where it's behind the jawbone into the mouth. And I was like, what's inside that area that would make this a dangerous piercing? And there's a lot of glands, arteries, there's a lot of veins on the outside. There's a lot going on. And we found that like there's like this 1/2-inch gap where if you hit that in between that 1/2-inch gap, you should be totally safe. But
Yeah,
that's a small window.
all this side. I have a bunch of sideshow friends, and they do the skewers
Yeah.
through here, and like, oh my goodness,
It's scary and it could be very dangerous. And but that's the last time I had to use an anatomy book. But most piercings are safe, you know, and the ones that are extremely rare, you know, like going underneath the collarbone, you know,
through the Achilles
I'll call it,
tendon.
it's dumb. It's just stupid. It's a risk not worth taking, you know? So, but yeah, Grey's Anatomy, if you want a book, that's probably one of the go-to for most people. That was a really worded answer for just Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, no, it's that's great though. Awesome. I'll keep it up.
Yes.
Bodhisattva says, "You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the times you've given me great advice."
Glad to help. You're awesome too. Thanks
Absolutely.
for being here.
Pirelli asks, I got pierced by Kelsey November 1st, double helix piercing, and December 1st, eyebrow. Both seem to be healing well, but I still get occasional crusties in the eyebrow. Any advice?
You should have got pierced by me.
Eyebrows can be off and on crusty. Also, making sure jewelry is being downsized. It's been how long?
Since December.
December?
Yeah. So I would ask, have you downsized
probably
since then?
Maybe downsize. Might be due for downsize. I think you came in. We downsized helix piercings.
Yeah, if I remember right, the helix piercings are rings now.
Yes.
But I don't remember if we downsized the eyebrow.
If you have bars sticking out of there, you want to downsize.
Yeah, that can definitely help eliminate some of the crustiness.
And if they get irritated a lot, that causes higher the chance for rejection, which is going to create a lot of crusties. So if you're sleeping on it, if it's getting bumped or hit all the time, it's just going to take that much longer, and it could cause it to reject. So you got to be nice to your piercing. I'm not saying you're not being nice. I'm just saying be aware of it.
Yes.
Yep.
It's so easy to hit piercings on things.
Yes, it is. Let's see. Dan Lind asks, can a Christina piercing be done on a trans woman? And I've actually been doing some extra research into this lately since we've been getting a lot of questions. And the answer is most of the time, yes. It's sort of like it's almost like a pubic mound piercing.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be anatomy based.
It is anatomy based for sure. And a lot of this information is taken from Lynn's blog. And from my understanding, they take a while to heal. It can be about 6 to 9 months. And most of the time, the anatomy isn't affected by HRT, hormone replacement therapy. So most of the time, it's good. But I would definitely go to somebody experienced.
And yeah, and it's like, and if you had any sort of operation and the skin's real tight, sometimes you need to wait a little while for the tissue to loosen up so you can actually support the jewelry. And if you don't have any sort of a curvature or a mound there and it's more flat, you could possibly do it with a surface bar too.
Yeah. Awesome. So maybe.
Yeah. So it's definitely a maybe.
Yeah, I would definitely get checked out by a good piercer that is experienced.
Yep.
In that, let's see. Cool.
Good question.
That is a great question. Yeah. Winnie Darkus asks, can you please talk about triangle and fourchette piercings, please? Anatomy criteria.
All right. Fourchette piercings, which is basically, it's not the same, but it's like a reverse VCH. So when you're looking at the vulva, like at the very top.
Do you want to draw something that maybe isn't explicit, but kind of details?
The whiteboard.
That's a great question.
I don't know. It's on the inside there, isn't it?
I think it's here actually.
Anyways, it's closer. It's like a guiche piercing, where it's basically where the bottom side of the labias come together right before it kind of the anus area. So you're going to have enough of a ridge or a lip of tissue there. Kelsey, you're in front of the camera.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
just blocking everything out. Hey, there she is. So, we need to erase that stuff. We need a
dry
pen.
erase mock.
We were not prepared. Good
Caught
catch.
it with my, caught it with my
we weren't on
nose.
the right camera either.
Caught it with my nose.
It went right in her nose and stuck in her nose, and you didn't catch it on camera. It was unbelievable.
Let's see.
It's black. It won't show up in your clothes. No. We're just trying to do some drawing here. So, but anyways, you have to have enough of a lip or a ridge to actual pierce. Sometimes that skin comes up kind of loose. Sometimes it stays nice and taut. And so it's an anatomy-dependent piercing. Now, as far as the triangle piercing goes, a triangle... What was
Sorry, that was me.
Oh, didn't you say you turned your phone on silent?
I did. I opened it to
Someone
check something.
lied.
No, I opened it to check something. I'm
Okay.
Sorry.
But anyways, for a triangle piercing, that's basically where you have the clitoral shaft going underneath, and then you have your labias, your two inner labias have this nerve which kind of shoot underneath. So you got these two nerves, and then you got the clitoral shaft on top. And what you're doing is you're going right in between those two nerves and that clitoral shaft, so it puts pressure on the shaft itself. It's a fairly deep piercing. A lot of times these are done too shallow and make it look like you have two labia piercings, like in an orbital. You shouldn't see that bar. It should be underneath that tissue. So if you see the bar, it was done too shallow. It is an anatomy-dependent piercing. It needs to... The outer part of, let me see, like where the horizontal hood, the hood of the tissue that covers the clitoral shaft needs to be protruding out of the vulva to where we're not scooping too deep in. So it should be easily accessible in order to get the piercing done. So.
Is that too explicit? It's a happy one. Is that not okay to show?
I don't think so. No.
This looks like Mary.
That is not. Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the fourchette, though.
What's that?
So this would be like the urethra, and then like the fourchette comes down like right here. This is like
Yep.
that little.
There we go. That's better.
Tissue there.
That's better. Okay, so
this is like where a VCH would be. You know, there's a little bead.
The top bead.
The bar, bead on the bottom, VCH.
Right on the forehead of the smiley.
This would be the urethra. Yes.
And this is a cartoon that Kelsey drew for all of the YouTube AI.
So these are your outer labias here, and then this here would be the urethra, and then inner labias. This here would be the opening of the actual vagina itself, and then this here, this piece of skin between the opening of the vagina and the anus here. So this here would be considered like the taint, right? So jewelry, a bead would be on the inside here, and then a bead would be coming on the outside here. That would be a fourchette piercing.
This is rare
very
genital
rare
piercing.
genital
I've only done
piercing.
like, I think 2 in my career.
I have done 2 in my career as well.
Okay, I've done them with curved barbells, but if I remember right, they said that they felt like a CBR is more comfortable once it's more healed
So I've
up.
done a circular barbell
Circular?
with large beads. And then we did a curved barbell in the other, and yep, same issue. Just felt like the jewelry was pulling through, but they heal extremely fast, so downsizing the jewelry is pretty important as well. So yeah. Fourchette piercing.
All right.
Yay.
Very cool.
So yeah, and triangle. Hold that back up.
Oh, and then so the triangle
So
would be, so this here, yep. So this is your clitoral hood piercing. The actual clitoris itself is right underneath this hood of tissue. So you have this bundle of nerves under all this tissue here. When piercing the triangle, you're feeling for that bundle of nerves. It's almost like a shaft that goes in and behind all of this tissue
you can almost pinch it and pull it up, and it goes underneath the shaft.
Yeah. So essentially, you'd put a circular or a CBR underneath all of those nerves there. And that would be your triangle piercing.
Yeah. So there you are.
Yep. Anatomy based as well.
Yes.
I've only ever done 2 in my career.
I've done several. I don't know how many I've done. I've done quite a few.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember we had one day where 2 people came in back to back for triangle piercings, and you said that has never happened in your career.
Like ever, and they didn't know each other, and it was just randomly, and I was like, no ways, there are 2 triangles in a row today. So
So crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep.
Yeah, if you're a piercer, tell me if you've ever done 2 triangles in a row on people who didn't know each other.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think the second person didn't have the anatomy for it, but we were still.
They didn't. That's right. That's right. But still, they're having the request for that.
Yeah, it was still wild for sure.
Also, just a friendly reminder: hit that like and that subscribe.
Ooh, you're good.
Yes, please. It helps us very much. We do love you guys. All right, Chip Douglas. Hey, Chip.
What's
how's
up,
it going?
buddy?
Yo, Chip.
He said, "Hey, y'all. Hopefully, you can guide me in the right direction. Which provider?"
That way.
Left. Which provider would you recommend me using to get my bloodborne pathogen certification?
Oh, okay. So I would highly suggest looking on the APP website, and I believe that's safepiercing.org, and I believe they offer a version. Can you look this up, Nova?
Yeah,
I believe they have an industry-specific bloodborne pathogens course, which is going to be a lot longer and thorough, and you're going to get some good information out of that. You need a good source of bloodborne pathogens courses. Now, I myself use emergencyuniversity.com. It's a real easy one to go through. I've taken so many bloodborne pathogens courses where I've sat through. I've done APP courses where they're 4 hours to 8 hours long or so. It was a lot. I've taken the Sky Renfro ones, so I don't feel like I need to keep taking them over and over. I just need refreshers, and that's where the Emergency University comes in. But if you've never had a really good one, I would suggest looking. Did you find anything, Nova?
Yes, I did. So there is an entire course section. This is from from the APP website. So I would recommend it unless you're in
4 hours long. That's what you need.
Yep, right here.
Yep.
So there are alternate versions. I guess there are some different laws.
Oh wow, yeah, bloodborne
Minnesota,
pathogens.
General California, San Diego County. But yeah,
Very
they have a lot of really awesome classes on here too.
They do.
So if you're ever interested in just furthering your education, you can't make it to the APP.
So it's a little bit more money, but for real, if you want to be a good piercer, take an industry-specific bloodborne pathogens, and our industry's better than the rest. It's going to be a way better course.
It's true.
We care. We really care. Sometimes too much.
Agreed.
Sometimes people are like, "Great, love that information," but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
For sure.
So there you go, buddy. I hope that helps.
Yeah, good luck. Gladys Morales says, I want to get jewelry for my nostril and septum. To avoid having to set up appointments just to look at jewelry, is there an affordable online store that's secure and recommended for good jewelry? Not really.
Not really, unless you know exactly what you're looking for. The point behind an appointment would be for you to be able to look at the jewelry, physically put it up to your face with the tools that we have so that you can see exactly what it looks like, different styles. We just have way too much to choose from. I don't know if you're talking about just us in general as a studio and the fact that we're appointment only.
I think generally, they're talking more generally, but the tough thing is that
sizes and everything. If you don't know exactly what you're looking for.
Here's the deal. When you come to our studio and we point out our jewelry, and you'll see a row of gems, and there might be 2mm gem, 2.5, a 3mm, and a 4mm gem. And then you go, oh, I definitely want that one. And they'll point at the 3 or the 4mm gem. And I'll look at them and say, look, it looks bigger on your nose than it does the case. So, and they're like, no, I want it big. And they're like, okay, well, let me go grab it. And we put on a little stick and you hold it up to your nose. And every time they go, whoa, that's way bigger than I thought it was.
So much smaller on display.
Every single time. So then that being said, when it's in front of your face and you're looking at it and you can't judge the size, how are you going to do this on a screen where it's not to scale?
Yep.
It's, like I said, unless you know specifically, I want a 2mm prong set gem and I need it to be 9/32 of an inch long and I need to have an 18 gauge with a 2.5mm disc back.
Yep.
It's really specific and it's hard to do on your own. It can be done, but it's hard. If you got pierced at our studio, our aftercare sheet has all that information written down on there for you. So it does make it easier for you to get. But be careful when you go online because a lot of people lie about what you're actually getting.
For sure.
Titanium being one of the most lied about materials
And
on
sizes.
Amazon, Etsy, sizes even. Sometimes people will be like, oh, it's a 14 gauge, 4mm, but it's really like a 3.5 diamond, and then the threading doesn't fit into a 14 gauge post at all. There's so many different things that we've run into with online jewelry. Titanium not anodizing, or it's just very low quality titanium. It doesn't anodize very well. Or even painted stuff. People are like, oh, it's solid 14 karat. I'm like, no, I can literally show you
Scrape it off,
right here that I can flake it off. It's not good.
Yeah.
I do have a recommendation though. So another problem that we hadn't talked about is that a lot of high quality jewelry companies do not sell to the general public. They only sell to high quality piercing shops.
Good
so
point.
what I would recommend is figure out what the high quality piercing studio in your area carries, and then maybe go to the websites of those manufacturers. You won't be able to see pricing, but if there are specific pieces, you may be able to take a peek at those and get pricing at the studio that you go to once you have the
One website that does carry the higher quality stuff that like ourselves carry, as well as other studios that might be near you, would be bodyartforms.com. You do not have to be a piercer or work in a studio to buy from there. Sorry, bug. And yeah, you can find a lot of stuff. You can find Buddha, Invictus, my goodness, Neo Metal, some Anata Metal, a lot of golds and everything. I got it.
Good.
He's dead. Yeah, lots of companies. Bodyartforms.com. But again, unless you know exactly what you're looking for.
Yep, and I don't think they shouldn't accept returns once it's
They do
worn.
not.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, you could drop a couple $100s on jewelry that isn't going to work for you. So I would recommend, if you are going to use that, just go to take a peek at some jewelry that you're interested in, maybe take some pictures, some screenshots, and bring those into a high quality studio, and they should be able to help you.
Here's another thing too. Us piercers love our jewelry.
We do.
We love our jewelry. We know exactly the brands. We're proud of our brands. We know exactly what they have. And if you went to a shop and you're like, what brand jewelry do you have? And like, I don't know. You're at the wrong shop.
That is also true.
I guarantee you, if a piercer's got it in their blood, they know the brands, they know their styles, they know their sizes, they know all of that. We can't help it.
Yeah, and
we're
usually
nerds when it comes to that stuff.
It's true, and we're usually proud of them because most of the time they're a cut above the rest.
That's right.
So,
So cheers to fun, good jewelry.
Silently judging you. How are you?
Stop judging me.
I know.
Says, so I retired a third lobe piercing over a decade ago, and every time I get sick, the internal part of the scar feels bigger and harder and sore. Thoughts on fixing that?
I don't really think there's much fixing that.
Massage and break down the
You
scar
can try
tissue.
to massage, break down the scar tissue.
Mederma works amazing for breaking down that old piercing scar tissue.
Yeah, but beyond over-the-counter stuff, that's beyond our pay grade as piercers. I would talk to maybe a dermatologist or something along those lines about it.
When they get sick, the piercing flares up?
Yep. Yeah, which, I mean, it's
But it's
common.
been retired over 10 years, so...
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
bizarre.
An old scar, an old war wound acting up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like
it's
I
that
said,
one. I don't think you got it, Kelsey. There's one. It just came by
It's
me.
a ninja gnat.
It's a ninja gnat.
Great friend of the show, John Haymaker, checking in, saying,
Hi,
hey.
John. I love you.
And he said, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
so much. I knew it was going to come back. I knew it was going to come back.
John would have had that answer for sure.
In a nanosecond. In a nanosecond. I miss you, buddy.
I miss you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful day today.
Yes, me too. Demetrius Williams says, hi guys, I have a question. If you want to stretch your nostril piercing, what size is best to start with? And he said which kind, so I would imagine like which jewelry style maybe.
Yes.
Single flared, glass or stone?
Not necessarily right away.
Not right away, no.
Oh, maybe, because I mean they do make some glass plugs in that, so that might
16,
make it a little easier.
14.
Because normally nostrils are pierced at roughly a 20 gauge or an 18 gauge. We at our shop do only 18 gauge. So stretching cartilage is not very easy. And going from 18
It's
to a
rough.
16,
It's rough.
it's going to hurt for a while.
It's rough.
It's not like earlobe piercings. Like once you get it in there, it stays sore for quite a while. And that's where glass half sizes make a huge difference.
Half sizes are so big
Yes.
when you're stretching cartilage.
So if you haven't started yet, if you already have like an 18 gauge nostril, put in a ring. Wear a ring for maybe a couple months, and then that ring might loosen it up enough to where the 16 gauge might fall into place.
Yep.
Put the 16 gauge stud in there, give it maybe a month or two. Once it starts calming down a little bit, put the ring in. Wear the ring for another month or two. That's the way I did it. And then once you get to the 14, 12 gauge, then it's doing more of the half sizes with the glass.
My only thing about putting rings in nostril piercings, especially if your nostril piercing is not 100% fully healed, you can cause the piercing to kind of migrate down. If the rings are too snug, especially, they start
Yes.
to pull the piercings down. So as long as they're fully healed, then the whole ring process may potentially work.
That's why I don't suggest doing it much after like the 12
Right.
gauge, you know,
Yep.
14 gauge.
Oh, yeah.
Because the weight starts causing problems and it keeps it sore.
Yes.
So, and I'll tell you this is permanent. There's no fixing this. You know, it might shrink up a little bit, but I'm going to have huge holes in my nose forever. So keep that in mind. Earlobe piercings, you can do reconstructive surgery and fix it. Nostrils, you can't fix that cartilage the same way. You might have a huge hole in your nose.
My nostrils, I think I got to an 8.
I didn't know you stretched
And
your
then,
nostrils.
oh yeah, when I was like 19. And I got 8s in. And at that point I was like, oh my gosh,
It
it
really hurts.
sucks. And I was going like half sizes and everything. I probably stretched them a little bit too fast though too. 'Cause,
Probably.
like, you know, I just wanted to get there. Anyways, and I finally got the 8s in, and they were just little acrylic, you know, like bars like this. They had the little O-rings on each side, and I got in a nice hot shower, and I just let the hot water like hit my face
Were
for
they
like
pink?
an hour. Oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So wait, no, they were dark blue. Sorry.
Really?
Dark
Okay,
blue.
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so I get out of the shower and I'm like patting my face dry, and the heat from the water, like, I don't know what it did with the O-rings, but they just came off, and then the plugs came out of my nose, and I just never again. Never
Yeah.
again.
It was a long, rough 10 years to get my nostrils to the size. And mine were pierced big. Mine, yeah. I started normal, stretched them, took them out, and then I think I had them pierced at 1 at an 8 gauge, and then the next one was like a 6 gauge.
Okay.
Needles.
Oof.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough time.
Oh.
Ow.
Well, there you go. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yes.
Let's see. Anna Lee. Check.
Hey, how are we doing for time, by the way?
Oh, we are good, actually. We are 47 minutes in. So not
Nice.
even an hour. We
Good,
got
good.
an hour and some change left.
We got to put a clock in here one of these days.
Yeah, a timer.
Yeah.
Right up there.
Anna Lee says, thank you guys for the information. We helped her out a little bit earlier.
You're very welcome.
Melina says, hi guys. I love you both and these lives.
Love you.
I got 2 helix piercings and a conch piercing, and the 3 of them have bumps. I've been cleaning with saline solution, but they just keep coming back. I don't know what to do.
I'm just going to guess that you're around the 4 to 6 month mark on your healing process. Usually around that time is when these bumps start to appear. They will come and go as they please until they just stop coming around. Just continue to do the minimum, I guess, just keeping them clean and leaving them alone. Don't start putting anything weird on these. The internet will tell you tea tree oil, you know, salt soaks, whatever else. Please don't. Just keep them clean, leave them be. Rinse them with warm water, sterile saline solution. You can try hot and cold compresses with the saline solution. That is one thing that has always kind of helped me. And yeah, just keep them clean, leave them be.
Couple things. Number one, make sure you're using wound wash spray, not saline solution for contact lenses. This is a real common mistake, and it's easy for that stuff to get contaminated and cause actually a lot more problems. So Neilmed wound wash spray works well. Steri-Wash. There's a couple other brands out there too, but a nice fine mist wound wash. Number two, if your jewelry is rings, change to studs. Rings they're not gonna heal right, and you're gonna have nothing but problems like this, and expect more problems for another year if you have rings in. So change to studs if that's the case. Number 3 is if your studs have never been downsized and you have extra length post on there, you need to get a shorter post in there so it stops moving back and forth. So if the jewelry's way too long or way too short, get the appropriate size jewelry. And then the last thing I'm going to say is if you wear any sort of helmets, headbands, masks, things that press up against your piercing, that won't allow it to heal either. So you got to be aware of all your surroundings and what's causing the irritation. Get rid of the source of the problem, and it should start getting better. But yeah, they're a pain in the butt to heal. Take some time.
It's true. I'm also going to chime in.
Yes.
And say that depending on the piercing, they also it could be jewelry quality, depending on where you got it pierced.
Sleeping.
Yeah, sleeping on it. It is also possible that they were pierced at an angle that is unsuitable for healing.
So now your body's trying to force it into a more comfortable situation there.
Hair product.
For sure. It's so tough to answer without knowing all of the details. So what I'm going to suggest is getting a second opinion in person by a high quality second piercer, or by going back to your piercer if they are super high quality and saying, hey, I have these bumps. They're irritation bumps. I know that they come from things being irritated, and see what they have to say.
Even the highest quality of piercers
True.
Their piercings will get bumps. It happens to everyone. It's irritation outside of the piercing room. So.
Oh yeah, I had some massive irritation bumps on my high nostrils that I was just talking about. So, and they were done well.
Yep.
I had them on all of my nostril piercings, most of my helix stuff, my conch, my doth, especially my doth. That one was rough, but I mean, it healed perfectly.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Zando's Critters says, "Hey guys, daytime stream !
Yeah.
I'll listen at work while I can."
Please tell me you have a lot of really cool critters with a name like that. I want to know what all of them are.
Yeah, Kelsey also has a lot of critters.
I do. I love animals.
They said, I'll listen at work while I can. Let me add, I had my nostrils punched at a 2 gauge last Friday. Pretty rough.
Sweet.
Still crusty and weepy, but I love them. Cheers.
Woo.
Yes.
Cheers to
a
that.
2-gauge punch.
Woo.
That's a big one.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
You're saying it's still weepy? It's a week. I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
Yes.
I'm proud of you for being at work.
6 to 8 weeks
for
is going to
real.
be 6 to 8 weeks is going to be the minimum on those not being weepy and sore and swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, though. We love
Have you ever?
Good job.
I don't know if I should say this, but I was gonna say, have you ever punched a nostril?
I've punched nostrils,
Do you
conches,
punch
flats,
and stretch?
punch and stretch.
Okay.
Always.
I know you do that for the helix, but I wasn't sure about the nostrils. The nostrils.
So you would punch at. So let's say you want to do like a
2-gauge.
like somebody wants like a 6 gauge. You would punch at the 8.
8 and
and
stretch.
then put the
to
6 in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only because the punch itself creates more of an expanded hole in general. Turns out a lot bigger than you expect.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way. My old mentor was like, "Oh, you want to punch that flat? Cool. Here's the punches." And I was just like, "Cool, we're going to do a 2 gauge." I punch the flat and I go to put 2 gauge jewelry and it just slips right through. And I'm like, what did I do wrong?
There's
They're
no
like,
pressure.
You thought you knew what you were doing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I learned a lot of things the hard way with that one.
That's rough.
Rough.
That's rough.
Not good.
Yeah.
Putting people in danger. Okay. We're not going there. Anyways.
Yeah, right. All right. Let's keep it
Sorry.
no, it's
Let's get
okay.
the next question.
We all have a lot to say
Yeah.
about that. Chip Douglas, thanks. And by the way, I finally got my mantis piercings done.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
You got to send us a picture to the email.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Cool. Congratulations.
Mhm.
Yep, I just got new jewelry for mine, and oh my
Oh.
god, I'm so stoked on them.
Ember.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Ember.
Yeah, we've been
We
really.
got to come up with a theme song for Ryan for his jewelry.
I'll do that. I'll do that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan says, I get a lot of dried skin in my ear canal, which is causing itchiness. I recently got my tragus pierced. The stud kind of gets in the way. Any recommendations for cleaning or moisturizing this area?
So, I mean, how long ago were they pierced or was the tragus pierced? And is the jewelry so long that it's like hitting the inside of your ear canal? Because that shouldn't be doing that.
My lotion bottles have a thing that should fit inside the ear if you want to squirt lotion.
Oh no, don't do that.
No?
Last week is when they got it pierced.
Last week, okay.
It's swollen. It's
So, yeah, it's
swollen,
probably
so it's
swollen.
irritated. Try to keep the swelling down. Ibuprofen, Aleve, Advil. Once the swelling goes down, that dryness, itchiness, everything, all that will start getting better.
And then for the dryness of the ears, you can try saline wipes. And I know that they do also make different things for ears, like
Well, if
wipes
you're using-
as well as.
If you're using a wound wash spray, that's saline, and you need to spray the inside of the tragus as well as the outside. So you should be kind of moisturizing it a little bit that way.
Yep.
If it's over irritated, you could possibly use some emu oil. Emu oil might kind of moisturize that inside area and make it feel a lot better too. So
Yeah.
get the swelling down. That's probably the biggest thing. You're probably
Yeah,
not
heal
taking
the
anything for
piercing.
swelling.
Yep.
Heal the piercing, keep the area clean. If you're getting like, lumps up, because some people do get drier
Skin.
ears, flaky ears, all that stuff that builds up in there. You want to definitely keep that away from the piercing. So just keep it as clean as possible. So spraying with saline, and then I would recommend saline wipes just to help kind of clean all that out.
Yep. I will also chime in saying, after you clean with saline, sometimes it's nice to wipe with a paper towel, just to make sure there is no leftover moisture from the saline solution.
Correct. If you go to clean your crusties off there and you just spray and you don't wipe the crusties, they just re-dry and form back on there. So it is important to remove those crusties.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely. But I would, since it's a
My
week
ears are
old,
starting to hurt. I'm sorry. Little break from that.
since it's only been about a week, I would say a lot of the itchiness is probably just the body doing the healing. So
Hey, Red.
Not too bad.
Okay.
let's see. Plugsley X says, "Hey Scott, just wanted to say it was a pleasure meeting you at conference. Sending you love from New Jersey, Tim."
Yeah, nice meeting you too. It was so cool meeting everyone out there. Man, we talked to a lot of people who watch the channel out there. That was really, really cool. It was such an honor to see everyone in person. It's just, I can't tell you how good it feels. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Our friend Swamp Ass says, "What up, y'all?"
What's up, Swamp Ass? That's always so fun to say. Thanks for having such an awesome name.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun to say. Lewis says, "Hi, big dog. I'm at the beach." So I think he's at the beach. So I think he's listening to us
Nice.
at the beach, which
Heck
is great.
yeah.
That sounds fantastic. I wish we were at the beach.
I want
Yeah.
to go to the beach. Ooh,
Agreed.
shop trip. Hawaii.
You have appointments today.
Yeah, right.
I'll call them. Just kidding. I'll see you guys in a little while.
Our friend Ursula's Odds and Sods.
What's
is
up,
here.
Ursula?
Hey.
How common is it for a septum piercing to have to be immediately redone because it came out crooked? I know they're tricky to pierce and aren't always 100% safe or
Can't-
straight. Sorry.
I can't believe
happens.
you asked that question this
Yeah,
week.
it's funny. Yeah, Scott was having some trouble earlier this week.
I had the worst septum week. Okay, it happens to the best of us, and I had the worst septum I've ever dealt with last week. A guy came in, we pierced his septum. I felt super confident. We hit the septum, the sweet spot, and it looked, and it was just crooked. It was like off to his right side. So I was like, okay, we'll compensate. We'll take it out. We'll re-pierce it. It happens, So I go to re-pierce it, and I pierce a new spot, and it sits in the same spot, and it's just crooked. And I was just like, I don't understand.
Why is this happening?
Normally, the second time's totally fine. And now he started bleeding a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to over-traumatize the area. I said, tell you what. I said, 2 bad piercings in a row. I feel terrible, dude. I'm really, really sorry. I said, why don't we let this heal up for a week? I said, you come back in a week and we'll re-pierce it. We'll get it straight. And I said, the piercing's on me. You don't pay for a thing. No jewelry, no piercing. I messed this up. I'm making you come back. I feel terrible. He's like, cool, no problem. Comes back in, you ready to do the piercing? I feel where it's at. And I was like, I got this. We do the piercing, exact same situation. Bam, off to the right side. I'm just like, I don't get this. I measured, same distance up on both sides. I can see exactly where it doesn't look like one's higher or crooked, but it's just sitting crooked. So I was like, okay, let's do this one more time here. We'll get this. And I tried the telescoping method, which is a kind of a complicated method, but I was like, my hands aren't going to be moving, and I used the right tools, and it worked amazing. So shout out to Joltron for that, but it still came out a little crooked. I don't know what it is. And I was guessing he might have a tighter septum where the cartilage might be pressing down on one side when it's done, forcing it off to the one side, but 4 piercings, and it was still slightly crooked. And I could see the old scar tissue, and I kept compensating, but it kept resting in the same spot.
Sometimes when it comes to septums like that, you have to overcompensate for, so when piercing, you can pierce as straight as you want going across, but then standing up, it's going to sit one way. So sometimes you have to pierce it at like a pretty gnarly angle to make it appear straight. So those ones are tough.
It was terrible. I've never had to do one that many times in a row, and to be not completely happy is insane.
Yeah.
That has never happened to me before in 30 years. So if you're watching the show, I'm sorry, dude.
What's wrong with your
It
face,
happens.
man?
I never hit cartilage either. Every time was the sweet spot. You can feel, and I'm as you can tell, it really bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things. I've been
off.
having a terrible time with septums myself. I in the last like 6 months, I've had to re-pierce more septums than I like to admit, just because the first time it happens, it's coming out too far in the back, and I'm trying all these different methods on how to do this, and I'm like, I'm at a point where I need to just take a break from doing them and just like reprogram. Like, and I've never had issues with them.
We'll be right back. Next
I've been
week
doing
back to normal.
Yeah, Scott showed me the receiving tube method, and it has been working so much better for me. Ever since doing it, I've only maybe had to re-pierce 2 or 3 septums in the last like 4 months that I've been doing it. So
I'm probably going to switch over to the telescoping method.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'd like to watch you do it.
That's so funny to me because at first you didn't buy into it at first.
I'm like, that's just way too many tools. And I'm like, I don't even feel what I'm doing with the needle. You just got to like pop it with your pinky. Like,
yeah, it's odd.
What?
Like when I first started doing it, it didn't feel like
it doesn't feel
comfortable.
Right.
But I got a lot of really good results. I have really only messed up one septum
because it was too far forward.
Because I put it too far forward. The only other one that I could say I messed up, I didn't really mess up. The piercing was perfect, but I completely missed the receiving tube and
pierced a nostril.
Bro accidentally got a nostril piercing as well, and I was doing it in front of somebody that was
nobody's ever going to trust us again.
Oh my god!
This was when I was an apprentice, so but yeah, I was doing it in front of another piercer also.
Of course.
Yeah, and I'll never forget like the eye contact we made. Yeah, it was but yeah, the telescoping method I do really like. It feels a little unwieldy at first, but once you get used to it and you make sure that it's placed properly and not pulled too far forward.
For those of you piercers who don't know what we're talking about, it's like you put a receiving tube on one side and you put a really thin needle blank on the other side where the needle goes inside the needle blank. So the difference is you're taking 2 receiving tubes, and when you touch them together, you can feel the sweet spot. But when you take the one receiving tube out and you're floating with a needle, you might not be in that exact same spot. Mm-hmm. Now, when you have the telescoping thing, like you're touching and you know automatically it's the right spot, and all you have to do is push with your pinky and it just goes straight through and you have a nice straight piercing. It really does work well.
Yeah, Joltron does have some descriptions of it. There used to be videos, but I think his YouTube got deleted, which is unsurprising.
Oh, Joltron.
Yeah,
so
it's good stuff.
Look it up if you're a piercer. It's kind of a cool technique.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to try it. So if anybody out there wants to let me experiment with the telescoping method,
yeah, hell yeah.
Piercing fee will be on me.
You can do it on me, but you're not going to hit anything.
Stick your pinky in there. You could probably just put the jewelry right in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, let's see where we are. B says, hello, I made it to a live. Yay.
Yay!
Hi, B.
Hi, B. They have a question that I'm going to skip a little ahead, and then I'll go back to make sure we hit them in order. But I'm officially getting my cheeks pierced in August for my birthday. I asked a question about them before, but I have a different question now. I don't wear makeup, I don't drink, and just quit smoking 2 months ago. How else can I avoid an abscess?
Well, I'd start smoking and drinking again. And you also need to,
Scott.
don't. I'm on a roll today. No,
Yeah,
no.
you are.
You're doing fantastic. Congratulations on the
Yes,
quitting.
absolutely.
So definitely, you're on the right path.
I would say quality of jewelry is going to be a really big thing. Who you're being pierced by is a massive thing. And just keeping up with aftercare. So I would recommend titanium jewelry with flatbacks on the inside, maybe some plain titanium beads for the outside. Going to someone reputable who knows what they're doing.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the reality of cheek piercings is there isn't much you can do to prevent anything. If sometimes they are very difficult, if not the most difficult piercing to heal. And even after, even if you're doing everything perfectly, if they were pierced perfectly, if you're downsizing on time, you can still have a ton of issues even after they're quote unquote healed. So not trying to talk you out of them necessarily, but
there's no way to prevent it is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All you can do is try to minimize the amount of problems by being healthier, wearing the right jewelry, getting the proper piercing by the proper piercer, and just being careful with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it comes
Sounds
down
like
to.
everything else that you've got going on is exactly you're a good candidate
Right
for
steps,
it.
yes.
Yeah, good candidate for the piercings in my opinion. So
Awesome. But
And
yeah,
the more you care, the better luck you're going to have. The people are like, oh, I just want to get cheeks, and you put them in there and forget about them. Bam, 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 nothing but problems. And then they're the ones that complain about it all over the internet, making it such a bad name. So they are problematic, but if you're careful about it, you can get them.
it is
Absolutely.
possible for
Yep.
sure.
Cool.
Yes. Roberta asks, can someone that wants to get their nose pierced get both the nostrils and the high nostrils done, I think, in the same sitting? Whew. I don't know if I would
wouldn't-
recommend that.
yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it. I would heal a set at a time. I would maybe start with the high nostrils because they are more problematic, and then the nostrils below that
It'd be a walk in the park.
would be a walk in the park compared to just get the high.
For sure. Yeah. I talked about my high nostrils earlier. Again, they can be annoying. Healing them on top of something. I was healing them on top of my bridge, which was like rough enough as is.
Mm-hmm.
If I was healing regular nostril piercings, oh my gosh, no, it would be so rough. And I think like regular nostril piercings can swell too. So I would do one set.
Yeah, because the one could swell, put pressure on the other side. So just minimize it. And then think about this. You're going to get fresh crusties. Do you want that many crusties in your nose?
Mm-mm.
That's a lot.
That would
of
be
crusties.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Boogers galore.
Oof.
That's true. I
Yep.
can't imagine also just like trying to blow my nose and like the entire thing hurts, like from the bottom all the way to
Yeah,
the
you're
top.
just,
Like,
yeah. Yep.
Because blowing, for me, both with my nostrils and my high nostrils and my forward-facing nostrils, I had to like relearn how to blow my nose each time.
Mm-mm.
We love the enthusiasm.
Yes, we do.
It's just less is more most of the time.
Mhm.
Yes, agreed.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Tell
from
more
Mark.
is more. Yeah.
Yes, more is more. Yngve Malmsteen.
Yeah.
Mark Hansen says, dude, no way. I caught a live stream. What's up, fellers? I have a question about resting and massaging stretched lobes.
Okay.
How frequently should you rest and massage them? I am at 1 inch and 9/16.
Resting your lobes, as in like not having jewelry
Like in
there?
between stretching, or are we talking about without jewelry in? In between stretches, if that's what we're talking about, I would recommend 6 to 8 weeks. In between stretching and going size by size. If there's half sizes available, take
Yep.
them.
Sure. What about just
massaging daily?
Every day.
Yeah, massage
day.
daily. I massage my lobes every morning. As soon as I get out of the shower, I'm a loche person. I loche, and I have rose hip oil that I love for my earlobes, and I put it on my face and I put it all over my ears, and I just massage. Helps with the blood flow. Daily massaging.
Why do you love rose hip oil for your lobes? That's very specific.
It's just really good on
Just-
the skin. Yeah.
But it's extra good on your lobes?
Yeah, I love it on my lobes. Ever since I started using it this last year, I have had no chapping, no like soreness with stretching. Just
Okay.
I love it. Yeah,
Cool.
rose hip oil.
I personally loved not olive oil, but coconut butter.
Ooh, coconut butter is
Coconut
good.
butter was
Yeah,
fantastic.
or even like raw.
You need to massage to keep the blood flowing.
Yes.
That's what's going on there. A lot of times the
Blood flow is
plugs
so
get
important.
so tight that the blood flow doesn't go through. So if you're massaging your ears and it hurts to massage them, you're getting
need
the
to get
blood
the
to come
rest.
back in there. This is not a good thing.
Yeah.
You need to keep massaging to keep that blood going.
And then you'll notice without jewelry in after massaging, your lobes are going to feel really fat and
plump,
thick
yeah.
and plump. That's good. That's when you should let them rest for maybe like a day. And then the next day, nice hot shower, massage, put some jewelry in. And they'll go in really easy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Love your lobes.
Love
Yes,
your lobies.
love your lobes.
I've actually been on the fence about getting mine closed up a little bit, maybe to like an inch, just because more jewelry options, you know. I've been thinking about it.
I miss my lobes.
Yeah, R.I.P. Scott's lobes.
Yeah.
They are gone.
I'll give you mine. What's your blood type? We could probably make that happen.
I'd
Could you
take
imagine again?
I'd
having
take
them?
them.
I know.
That
I'd
would be the
donate 'em
first
to you. How
earlobe
cool.
transplant ever.
Whoa.
That'd
Let's
be
do
pretty
it.
cool.
We need to start getting some blood tests done.
Yeah.
I'll take them.
I feel like we know a lot of people that would try that.
That would want to do
That's
that.
the scariest
Yeah, I
part.
know.
Is that like, I'm down.
Yeah,
People are going to
let's
start
do
getting
this.
us messages right away.
Yeah, it would just be like, okay, who should we choose? Alrighty, silently.
I would prefer someone with a much darker skin tone because that would make things a little bit
I
more
mean, I'm pretty
awkward and
tan
weird.
compared to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Oh.
just
I
a
don't know.
totally
Close.
different skin tone.
Yeah, like-
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
blackest person possible.
Oh, that
dark
would be
black
awesome.
Earlobes. Like, do you tattoo your skin? I'm like, no, that's natural.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be super sick.
That'd be awesome.
Let's see. Silently judging you, I think says no getting hit with broom handles. I can't remember what piercing we were talking about, but that is always good advice.
Yes.
Always good
Yeah.
advice.
That sounds like that might have happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds
Yeah.
like very
It's too
specific
specific. Yeah. Yep.
All right, James the Piercer says there is a revised edition of the Piercing Bible now.
Yes, there is.
There is. I believe my friend Jeff Saunders contributed to that.
Yes.
Quite a bit, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And the
Great book.
the revision, was that like 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
A couple
now?
years ago.
A couple
yeah.
years ago, but yeah.
Yeah. It's,
More pictures and diagrams, I believe.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that one. Let's see. Summoning Sloth 7. Hello, Scott. You know, actually, hold on. I know exactly who you are because Scott and I talked about what you're about to talk about, and we're like, how did she know about that? All right, so you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, Scott. When
Okay.
I say this.
I have no idea where we're going right now.
It says, hello, Scott, Kelsey, and Nova. I got my soft tissue mantis piercings done by Scott about 2 weeks ago, and the hidden helix. All are doing well so far. Thank you, Scott, for being so patient with me after I forgot
Awesome.
my daughter's ID for her appointment.
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely no worries. It's the reason I'm bringing that up is you had specified soft tissue mantis, which I took a mantis. I think we also
Class,
took a
yeah.
mantis class this year, where they were talking about the difference between soft tissue and hard tissue mantis piercings. And to be honest, that was the first time I had ever heard that term. So
Me too.
yeah, so we were really surprised when a client came in and used it. And I'm
Like, do you guys pierce the soft tissue of the mantis? I was just like,
yeah, like how do you
Were
know
you
about that?
at you in
What?
class with us?
I just learned this like 48 hours ago, and you're coming in asking specifically about soft tissue.
Sure,
So
sure.
that's why we were so knocked back and impressed because,
Yeah, that's awesome.
damn.
That's awesome. Yeah, and,
Yeah,
and
you did
for
great.
what it's worth,
Doing
we,
research.
we do know how to pierce soft tissue, and we did know how to pierce soft tissue versus
Yes.
hard tissue. I just never heard it called soft tissue versus hard tissue.
And for those of you who don't know, here's where the whole world's gonna be sticking their fingers in their nose again because we're talking about it. When you pinch the tip of your nose, you can feel how there's like a little ledge there and it gets nice and thin. And as you go up towards the front and you kind of pinch up further, it definitely starts getting thicker. And that thicker is the hard tissue, but that little thin flap on the bottom is the soft tissue where typically you want it to get pierced because it's going to heal way faster, way smoother. Once you go up in the hard tissue, it exponentially gets more difficult.
Bring up some of these.
There's my
I know
nose.
that nose. Yeah.
Yep.
So just some
The
visual.
one with the big septum ring could be into more of the hard tissue. If they would have brought it down a little bit more, that might be into the softer tissue.
Ooh, the one all the way to the right looks like it's
Oh,
into
for
the
sure in the hard tissue.
for sure.
The
no,
bottom one-
down
down?
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
that
one?
one.
That one looks rough, actually.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes. Same thing with the Reddit in the middle by the one that Lynn did right there. That might be hard tissue. It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't tell until you feel it. But typically the softer tissue is pointing more down, and most of these point outwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but anyways,
But yeah,
very cool.
Thanks so much for coming to hang out. Yes, really sorry we couldn't do your daughter's piercing without the ID. It is unfortunately state law.
The law.
Yeah. But come back anytime. Would love to hang out.
Absolutely.
Do piercings on you and her.
I'm glad they're doing well too.
Me too. I don't know. I really don't know about this name. JNLLSZN. JNLLSZN. Yeah, there's like no vowels in it. So
yeah.
no. Jizen. Jill season. All right. Anyway,
it's probably something so common we're just overlooking it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong too.
Kelsey has done 15 of my 19 piercings.
Wow.
Recently got it's the cherry emoji, which I think is nipples pierced. Is that right?
Could be hood.
Very nice.
I think the cherry, I'm pretty
Nipple
sure
piercings.
the cherry's one I've been seeing on Instagram and TikTok is like nipple piercings.
Okay.
But thank you for always being so kind and professional. You're the best.
Yes. I try my best.
We do.
Yes.
Dan
Thanks
Lynn,
for trusting me.
Yes.
I appreciate it very much. I do my absolute best, and I want to provide the best I possibly can when it comes to piercings.
Absolutely.
I just love making people happy. So
Yep.
It's the best part of the job.
yeah.
It really is.
Dan Lind saying thank you so much.
You're
Winnie,
welcome very much.
Whitney chiming in again, saying, can I know the healing times and when I can go to the beach with these piercings? In parentheses, they were the person talking about the fourchette and the triangle.
Okay, I would say the triangle piercing is going to be a slightly longer healing process than the fourchette. The triangle piercing, I'm going to say, is probably like the 2 to 3 month range, and you're generally mostly healed up. It could be a little bit
I'd
longer.
say about 3 to 6 months.
For it to be, but to go swimming,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 And then the fourchette piercing is like a very minimal amount of
nothing.
tissue. It's
Yeah.
like a month and you should be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Should be.
Yep.
Listen to your body. If you're sexually active, if it's getting caught on things like underwear, things like that, and creating a lot more crusties and irritation, you'd need to wait longer. But
Yep.
fourchette's a shorter one. The triangle, a little bit longer. Add another month or two.
For sure.
Yep.
Xander's Critters says in all caps, show
no.
the vag. I think he's talking about the picture that we were drawing.
That's, yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't think we should. I'm like, show the
I'm
bag.
like, well, I'm just kidding. Kidding. Totally kidding. Oh my God.
Patreon. That's the Patreon subscription. $100 a month.
We'll just have the editor black out the whole screen right there so no one knows what. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did it. I'm like, no, put your pants back on.
That's funny. Shmello says, hi guys. I hope you're having a great day. Baby Piercer here. Where do you not recommend getting a dermal piercing? Most places.
Anywhere other than the face. I mean, they just don't really last. Okay, then again, I think John might still have his on his arm. Did I take that one out?
Arms can be all right.
That was like 12
The
years
worst
ago.
idea for a dermal anchor I've ever heard is the tip of the nipple.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's
When it first came out,
crazy.
everyone wanted them just on the tip of the nipple. I understand it would look amazing, but
I thought about getting that, and then I was just like, oh, how cute would that be to have like little gems like right on the tip of your nipple? And then I've come to find out my friend Angel Bow had them, and I was like, you're kidding me. She can literally just pop jewelry in and out of them. They just that little pocket fistula
it just
heals.
opens. And,
Yeah, but it just stays open.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, like,
Crazy.
if things got bad and you had to have them removed.
Yeah. Oh, I could not imagine. I just can't imagine like a needle going into the tip of my nipple like that.
Yeah.
I glitched.
So yeah, people put them.
Clamp on there trying to pull
Yeah.
it out. And this,
Technically, you can put them anywhere, but as far as longevity goes, face, sternum, even sternum, I'd prefer a surface bar 9 times out of 10. But
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
possible.
I just don't recommend any piercings on the sternum whatsoever. I mean, it depends. Like, so I, for example, have like a sternum that is very rounded. Like this bone here literally sticks out. See, isn't that crazy? You could never put a surface bar in that. It would reject out so fast.
Yeah.
No.
Reminded me, this girl came in like 25 years ago and she goes, yeah, I want to get a cleavage piercing. And she was just like super skinny and you could see her bone like that. And she was just like, I was like, you don't have the anatomy. Like,
You have
this
no
is just
tissue there.
bone right there. She's like, don't you have a drill or something? Dead serious.
Brutal.
Just drill it in. Oh, that'd be cool.
I was
Permanent jewelry.
I just like
what's wrong with people?
that is such an insane thing because like the amount of pain you would feel from someone drilling into your bone is like crazy.
And the way she said it was like, I was the idiot for not thinking
of it. Yeah.
Don't you have a drill or something? And I was just like,
Hold on.
let me regroup here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no way she's still alive.
Yeah, I'm sure not. James Prater says, hi, guys.
Hi, Yimmy. It's Jimmy.
Oh, it's Jimmy. Hi.
Yeah.
Look at my Kelsey. So well-spoken. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Twy.
Lindsay is saying, I'm training in body piercing. Any advice or websites that I need to look at, please? Anything that helps would be super.
There's this guy on YouTube who has all these videos on all the different piercings and
I think
problems.
his name's Scott.
Scott something.
Scott Wilkerson.
No, not him. That guy's a jerk.
Scott Wilson. Willinson.
Scott
He can be
Wilson.
kind of a jerk once
Willie
in a while.
Nelson.
But I think he's got good information.
Maybe.
So check out all my videos.
wait.
We try to help you out.
Oh, wait a minute. I think it's right here.
There you go. Yeah.
Bada boom.
So check out my videos. That'll probably help you quite a bit. There's also Ryan Ouellette. How do you spell his last name? Is it
Roulette.
O-U. It is roulette without the R, I think. So it's
Oulettete or something?
Yep, something like
Okay.
that.
Like the game
He has
roulette.
the Piercing Wizard podcast.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. You gotta, if you're a new piercer, there's gonna be so much information. He's gonna make your brain explode.
Yeah, if you ever just like working or doing whatever and you have a chance to just put it on in your headphones. Yeah.
It's a great source of information. The more sources of information you can get, the better off you're going to be. You know, Lynn Lohide has some videos out there. Davo from the Piercing Tattoo channel has some information out there. There's old videos on YouTube called The Modified World. There's a bunch of good information on there. Read the Piercing Bible. Go to APP every year for the different conferences and classes that we have here.
You can
in
do
Las
the
Vegas.
online courses as well through the APP.
And you get to come say hi to me too.
Yeah.
So there's a couple sources. There's a lot of information out there. You just got to do your homework and don't stop learning.
Yes.
You're on the right path.
Yes.
Cheers to
Cheers
proper
to that.
education. Edumacations.
Cheers. I also, as a disclaimer, you said you're training in body piercing. I just want to make sure that what you mean by that is you have an apprenticeship. Because if you don't have an apprenticeship, you should not be piercing anybody. And
Good catch. You're 100% right.
It is also a great way to forever make it so you can never get a good apprenticeship. If like what I'm trying to say is if you're piercing outside of an apprenticeship and you try to get an apprenticeship at a good shop, they're going to tell you no because you were piercing outside of a good shop or outside of a shop at all because it is not safe to do.
It's actually a felony in most places and it's public endangerment because they look at you as spreading diseases and you need to be inspected by the Board of Health and make sure that everything's on the up and up. They're not, you might think you know what you're doing, but you can't see germs and you don't realize what diseases you're giving people.
Yep.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Multiple.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, don't try to go into an apprenticeship with
Experience.
any sort of at-home experience thinking that you know anything realistically about body piercing because they would look at that and think you have no idea like what you're doing, the things that you could potentially be putting people through, the dangers you could be putting people in. So don't go into an apprenticeship like, hey, I was piercing at home. I have this type of basic knowledge. There is no general basic knowledge behind at-home body piercing. You're going into it blind. So either way, don't start off with, I have this experience. That is not experience at all. And then we all would also have to then figure out, is this person going to be able to be reprogrammed essentially to like throw anything that they might have in the back of their mind about what they might know, what they might not know.
It's tough on learning things.
It's tough.
So hopefully your training is an apprenticeship.
Yes.
Yes, just wanted to clarify that. Not trying to call you out or anything, but yeah, it's really important. If you are not an apprentice and you're interested in becoming one, there is still a lot of education and steps you can take to make sure that you are, really, really well prepared. I have some friends that are apprentices that I jokingly say are overpowered apprentices.
Mm-hmm.
I know a dude that is like still an apprentice that is probably, I know two people actually that are still apprentices that are probably better piercers than I am. So it's super important to have a good one. And the only way you can get a good one is by not piercing people outside.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, thinking you're training yourself by watching my videos and you have not had an apprenticeship, we don't condone you learning from this channel to learn how to pierce people. This is general knowledge for the piercee, and we try to help out when we can, but this is not an apprenticeship. Get a proper apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
We don't condone home piercings.
Absolutely.
None of us do. Right, Kelsey?
Right.
Okay.
That is not where I started.
Yeah, no. Kelsey is the exception to the rule. Like I say, when you're young and dumb, it's one thing, but
Yeah, I was one of those people that walked into wanting an apprenticeship. Like, hey, I've been piercing since I was in the 6th grade, and they were like, "You've been piercing, or you've been messing people up?" And I'm like, "Oh." Gulp.
Your answer was piercing because you didn't realize you were messing people up yet.
And I'm like, I could show you pictures. And he was like, yeah, let me see some pictures. And I showed him pictures and he was like, that's fucked. That's fucked. Sorry. That's messed up. That's messed up. I don't even know what that is. That's not too bad. But I'm like, oh, shots fired. I was shot down so hard that day. And I am glad that I was, because I had no idea. I had no idea that what I was doing was wrong. And I'm just super lucky that I was put in the position that I was to, like, because this is something that I've been in love with since I was a kid, so literally since I was a child. And I definitely followed my dreams to be who I am today. And I'm glad that I did. I've learned so much in the last 15 years of my life when it comes to body piercing, especially in the last 2 years. It's insane. So if it is something that you really want to do, go for it.
Do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
Yep, it's worth it.
It is so worth it. I love what I do. I wake up every day knowing that I am going to my place of work to do exactly what I know I was meant to do. So.
Truly an amazing feeling.
It is. It really is.
Amazing feeling.
Yeah. Life's good.
Yes, indeed. Pirelli chiming in again saying, hey, I set up an appointment with Kelsey tomorrow at 3 p.m. to downsize my eyebrow jewelry.
Sweet.
Nice.
See you tomorrow, duder.
See you tomorrow. Jordan asking a good question. I don't believe my piercer is part of the APP. Should I go to someone else for my next piercing?
No.
Actually, Jordan, we are not members of the APP either. So you don't there. So the thing with the APP is you don't have to be an APP member to be a good shop. And there
skills have nothing to do with APP.
Yep. There are shops out there that are APP members that are not as good. So it is, it's usually a good place to start. If you have no knowledge of anybody in your area that is doing high quality piercings, but
it doesn't mean they know how to pierce.
Exactly.
Yep. It just means they're following certain protocol. They're using certain standards.
It means
jewelry.
that their shop is at the level of standard necessary to then be in association of a professional piercer.
It means they care, and you're probably going to get a better piercing, but there's no guarantee.
You'll get better quality jewelry. You'll get better quality. Just in general, the studio alone is up to par.
Yes.
On standards. The quality of your actual piercing, though, may not be. Just do your research. Make sure that you are going to someone who is reputable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
their portfolio and work speaks for itself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For the most part. Sometimes people only post the good things that they're doing.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
And
they don't talk about the mess ups that they do. Like earlier, we were talking about, dang, how many times did I have to re-pierce that septum that day?
Why are you bringing this back up? Jeez.
It's okay. I have a bad septum life right now, not just a week. So
Yes.
No one's ever going to book septums
Yeah,
with us
right.
ever again.
I'm so sorry.
Uh,
We're really good at what we do. I would never let you leave
There-
the studio with a crooked piercing.
Yep, and there isn't a piercer alive, I don't think, that like doesn't get stressed when they hear the word septum.
Right. I can name 4.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And that's just on the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mononoke Mar says, favorite moments from APP? It looked like such a fun and educational time. We do actually have some pictures. I do need to put everybody on, I do need to put us on mute real quick because the password that I have for the actual computer that is on the camera, it doesn't seem to be working. So hold on for 2 seconds. Kelsey, if you would like to make funny faces for us, 1 second.
Google.
All right, thank you for bearing with us, folks.
We're laughing our butts off over here right
Yeah,
now.
we are. Yeah, we are. So we have a couple pictures from Scott, but we also will be doing
That's me.
we will be doing a video here pretty soon. We took a lot of video and tried to get as many pictures as we could.
Yeah.
I had an idea
There
of
we go.
creating a reel on my Instagram of like, oh, experience APP with Piercing Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I took lots of pictures and videos and stuff, and I'm so excited. It's
So-
mostly about what we ate, though. So, and if you know me and you follow my Instagram, I post just a lot about what I made to eat and eating it. So,
Kind of a foodie. Yeah.
Yeah, but we all took some pictures of and
Yeah.
videos of classes
Some
we were
some
in.
Random
great
things.
classes. Yeah.
Favorite moments though.
Favorite moments.
I flossed a person at the pool party. That was probably my favorite moment.
I witnessed it. It was not.
Scott and I made the weirdest eye contact while I was flossing this. And when I say
He was
flossing,
like-
I mean,
Literally.
I literally was like flossing this
You,
chick.
like one of those like tooth flossers,
Flossers?
the plastic with the little floss.
Yeah.
Tell the story. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
We
I
can't
mean-
just leave it there because it sounds all weird and sexual. Right?
Yeah. It does. But no, like there's this.
She was like, floss me.
That's kind of
And
what
Noah was
happened.
like, okay. I
but
already
no-
used it. She's like, I don't care.
It was very funny, but no, it was just a friend, and I think I was asking for a hair tie, and she was just pulling stuff out of her purse and pulled this flosser out, and I was like, oh, has that been used? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, well, let me get it. I don't know why. I was just like, okay, I'll
I need
do
to
that.
floss.
Yeah, and then I started. She's like, oh, let me get some of that. So I started flossing her after flossing me. It was the most.
So I'm
disgusting thing I've ever
staring at
done.
Nova right in his eyes, and he's just like,
It was great. I was like, are we flirting?
Are we flirting right now? Are we married?
APP's weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's so fun.
Here are some
Yay.
pictures.
Nate,
Oh, his class.
Jason.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
Jason was, he literally, his class was by far, like, besides Joeltron's, of course, because he's a freaking hoot. But this guy, Jason, he taught one
The
of the
history of
coolest classes.
India.
The history of body piercing in India. And so because I've always wondered, because you see a lot of those videos of like how they're still piercing with piercing guns and the age and everything that they're piercing nostrils and stuff. It is a culture thing, and culture is one of those things that, like, in my opinion, just shouldn't go away. It's just part of their lifestyle and how they grow up and everything. And different countries, of course, comes with different cultures. And I learned so much. And he was hilarious. And he had been on so many different trips and took so many photos of people
We're going to have him on
women.
the podcast.
Yeah.
I talked to him and
he's
he wants to
great.
come on board.
He's fantastic.
Jason, is it D'Souza or something like that? I think is his last name. Mr. Piercer on Instagram. Go follow him. He's amazing.
Amazing.
One of 3 body piercers
cool
in
pictures.
all of India that does
In
all the
India.
body piercing that uses
And
the same standards that we do.
Yep, he's actually the first, and I believe the only in his area that carries the quality jewelry that most places in the U.S. would. So like
Such a
implant
good
grade
guy.
titanium.
Such a good guy.
Yep, so cool.
Cool.
The jewelry, so fascinating.
Yep.
Truly.
And just random people.
TJ.
Yeah.
TJ,
Oh, Gus.
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 Yeah, I was hanging out with Gus smoking a cigar, and at midnight it turned into his birthday, so he got the tiara. So
Yeah.
Gus is old school, and
love
that's
Gus.
Michael McKay. He actually taught me at the Gauntlet back in the day in 1996, and then we worked together at St. Sabrina's back in the day. Such a cool guy, so good to run into him again. And then this is Mick. Mick also taught at the Gauntlet back in 96, and he's the one that pierced my ampling piercing. And I don't think I've seen him since 1996, 97 in the class. And it's just like, and he's working out at Cold Steel right now, California.
I was only 9 years old.
Rad. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah.
That's so cool. But I was into piercing then, so
there's a couple pictures. I mean, but yeah, running into old friends, and as you can see, everyone's just all smiles.
so much fun.
It's such a blast.
It's the best.
Educationally, though, I will say my favorite experience. I loved Joltron taught a class on guiche piercings, and not only was it was so thorough that he got his own guiche pierced and showed
The
a
video of it.
of him with his butthole right and to like 500 people. Which
I'm
I
happy
love.
and sad I missed it at the same time. I don't know
was a great
how to
class.
feel.
It was awesome.
I bet
Yeah.
it was.
It was done by his apprentice, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's
If she's
the
still
apprentice.
apprenticing or
yeah,
not.
I think she's a piercer, but
She's
she
amazing.
hadn't done a guiche before. And he had little ribbons.
Oh yeah,
that
it
he
was her
gave us.
first quiche. That's right.
He had little ribbons for us that it said fresh baked quiche and had a little picture of quiche on there, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, it was a blast. I'm like,
With a little starfish on the top of the quiche too, I believe.
yeah, absolutely.
So
He's a silly
Use your
guy.
imagination.
Yes.
Yep.
He's a silly one. We love Trolltron.
Yes, we do. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Razorblade says, when does the redness go away? I got my piercing 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it's still a bit red.
It's going to be red for. It
Did they say
depends
what
on-
piercing?
Nope.
Okay.
So it depends on the piercing, but I mean, soft tissue can stay red for up to like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
It really just kind of depends on the piercing. If it is soft tissue and cartilage, or just cartilage, or whatever have you. Yeah, about 4 to
And
6 months.
especially if it's
sometimes
being
even longer.
irritated. If it's that early, you still have crusties. Crusties cause the irritation. We're
2 to
not
3
real
weeks,
surprised.
You're in the beginning stages of
Yep.
your body just trying to figure out what's going on with itself. So,
Yep.
Keep it clean, leave it alone.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
You'll get there.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Gladys is saying thank you for your help. John XOXO.
Love you.
Steve Whitmer says, hi, glad I caught the live stream. I'll be in for a couple piercings and stretchings in a couple of weeks. Stay
Sweet.
cool. And Steven, I have not forgotten about you or your jewelry. I will be giving you a call either a little later today or early tomorrow.
Cool.
So yeah, we got some stuff in for Steve.
Nice.
Stuff in the seed.
Nick says, my orbital helix is looking healed finally after 7 months. No more crusties! Exclamation.
Nice. Those are hard ones.
That's
to heal.
amazing. If it looks good at 7 months, you're on the right track.
Yes.
I have a client who we did this orbital about 2 years ago, and we've gone back and forth with rings and putting librettes in just to help with the
Calm it down.
calm it down and everything. But we're trying a 16 gauge 7/16 in it, just CBR, just to see how it does. But unfortunately, she does sleep on that side. And although she uses one of those airplane pillows, the piercing pillows, we could sit here and say that those things work so well. But even still,
They make it better. They don't make it
better,
perfect.
but you're still applying pressure to that area. And with the hole of the piercing, or the hole in the pillow, the blood flow is still getting sucked into that ear. So it's a tough one. Those are a tough one to heal. So congratulations. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yes, indeedy.
Dee Dee.
Indeedy.
Deedly-doo.
John chiming in again about the septums. He said, "Yeah, but you are so much better and wiser for any mess ups." So like, I think the idea is that as time goes on and we get better at septums in particular every time we.
You should, and you learn from your mistakes, and that's with any career, anything in life. It's like you make a mistake, big deal. People make mistakes. Learn from it and move on, and don't repeat it.
Yep,
that's what makes you wise.
Truly.
Yes.
He also
I was going to say intelligent. I'm like, no, I think it's wisdom is when you learn through experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he also said my septum was never straight till I did it at an 8 gauge. So there you go. If it's not straight, just go bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zando's Critters said, thanks for answering, guys. I'm having to wear a mask at work for a while. I think that was in reference to earlier, but
Cool.
said, I do have a lot of critters, snakes, spiders, fish, lizards.
I love you.
Yes, Kelsey also has a small zoo in her house.
I have a labyrinth Burmese python. She's a little tiny baby. I have a black and white Argentine tegu. He's full grown. He's like 4 feet long with his tail included. He's a chunky boy. His head is like this big. I love him. And I have 4 dogs and a cat and 2 birds now. We just got my cockatiel, a little baby cockatiel.
Very cute.
And their name, Sunny is she's my older female, and then we just adopted a little baby girl and named her Cher. So it's Sunny and Cher.
Oh my gosh.
She's a little songbird. She likes to whistle all day.
That's so silly.
She's so sweet.
I love it though.
Cool.
Sunny and Cher.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had a dog named Lemmy.
I love that.
After
That's
Motorhead.
Hell yeah. I have a Motorhead tattoo that I can't show to the crew. Well, I could, but not now. Chip Douglas says, I'm really considering getting a septral in the future. My septum is currently at a 4 gauge. Is 4 gauge big enough to get a septral done?
Almost.
I'd get to a 2.
I use this very specific receiving tube that has a side hole in it, and the smallest I can fit in there is going to be a 2 gauge where I could pierce it comfortably. So that's why we generally say a 2 gauge. There might be a tool out there where you could get it done at a 4, but 2 definitely makes it easier. So that's why I say a minimum of a 2. Yep.
Cool. G Wolf says,
that would be amazing.
I need to know about the telescoping method.
Okay.
I will say,
we have explained it a couple of times. Maybe go to the next question, but
I'll draw something real quick. It's real easy.
We kind of talked a little bit about it. I will say on Joltron's website, if you look up telescoping method Joltron septum piercing, he does sort of describe how to do it. But yeah, I think some visual reference would be good.
Squeak. Squeak. Okay, so when you're looking at this, you're going to have your receiving tube on one side, and this catches the needle so we don't pierce the nostril. This also has a similar receiving tube that is barely bigger than the actual needle, which fits inside. I order 3-inch needles and have a 2-inch needle blank, so there's parts that sticks out. What you do is you push the needle point back so it's not touching. So when you connect the two, you can feel exactly where the septum's hitting that sweet spot. And all you do is you use your pinky on the end to just push the needle as it's connected, and it connects through. So it's telescoping through the 2 different receiving tubes / needle blanks. So that's the theory, is that you're already touching before you actually do the piercing. Because when you hold the needle out loosely, you're not touching the actual skin itself, and you might not guarantee you're going to hit the perfect spot.
Yep.
Cool.
I think that's a great explanation and a great demonstration. The visual helps out a lot, I think.
Good. It's pretty cool. It was
It
easier than I thought. And if you hit the septum perfectly, there's not much resistance, so you don't need much to push.
Push it through,
I was nervous about that. I was like, if I mess it up, and if you don't have the right spot and you don't know what you're doing, don't do this, because if you hit the cartilage, you're not going to get the needle through.
No, you're not.
You're not.
No way.
Yeah, you have to know what you're doing and be confident before you do it.
For sure.
Yep.
Tam Tam says, hey Scott, really love your channel. As someone who's relatively new to the body modding scene, it really helps me appreciate this wonderful art.
Well, we appreciate you being here and wanting to learn more. The more you educate yourself, the faster and more you're going to grow in this industry. We need more piercers that know what they're doing.
Yes,
I would say we need more better piercers.
That should be a T-shirt.
We
Or
need
better
more better
piercers.
piercers.
We need
Yeah.
more
Or
better
better
piercers.
piercers.
I like that. And yeah, even if you aren't interested in becoming a piercer, the more educated the general public is on getting piercings,
The better.
The better, because that's going to make it so you know what a bad shop is, and you don't go there, and you tell the people you love not to go there.
And then the bad shops have to step it up in order to stay in business,
Or
and
close.
it's a win-win for everyone.
Yep, exactly. So thanks for hanging
I don't
out.
hate piercers that don't do a good job. Keep educating yourself, make yourself the better piercer and care about what you do. That's really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to be better.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. More better.
Or better.
More better.
Mononoke Mara says, Kelsey, redo my septum.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there we go. B saying, talking about cheek piercings, said, yes, go into somebody reputable. He does heavy modifications here in Vancouver, Canada. Tongue splits,
Cool.
conch removals. We're piercing at a 12 gauge, which I love.
Good.
I don't do cheek piercings, but if I did, I would do them at probably a 10 gauge. Maybe a 12 gauge, but probably for me 10 gauge minimum, just for stability purposes.
I do them at a 14 gauge minimum, but it also definitely depends on the person and tissue. Thicker cheeks, I will definitely use a 12.
Makes sense.
I think ultimately what I would do, I think I agree, is I would probably pierce mine at a 10 gauge, heal them up, and then downsize to the 14 or to the 12, because I think 12 is going to support it good, and it still gives you all the jewelry options.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
10 gauge, you start running into tougher jewelry options. Things don't fit the same way. You're very limited. But 14 and 12 gauge, you have a lot of options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They also said, I wanted to go to Seattle because I'm not far. I was going to get Lynn to do them, but Lynn's very strict about not piercing cheeks for travelers unless they can regularly come back.
Good.
Gotcha.
Which
Good.
is awesome.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, me too. I love everybody at Laughing Buddha. They're like they're my home away from home shop for sure. So everybody there rules, including the owner, Christy. She's so great. I saw her at conference this year for the first time in a little while, and yeah, I miss them all so much.
I want to bring up something here. You like traveling and piercing. There's a lot of people when they travel, they like, oh, I like to get a tattoo every time I travel, or I like to get a piercing. And I'm not saying we don't want to pierce you, but if you have a good piercer at home, having someone to go to on a regular basis, if you're having problems and issue, helps so much. So find yourself a good piercer. If you have a good piercer at home and you're like, oh, I want to get pierced by Scott as well, you have someone you can go to, but don't. Like same thing with tattoos. You can't get free touch-ups, can't get things fixed. And if they know you're a tourist, they don't care the same way as if you're a local. So you're going to get better quality work in general if you find a place in your hometown. And it's in general, it's safer. I've had some people go to other countries and get piercings and come back, and it's like, I don't even know what's inside your body. Like I remember trying to remove a dermal anchor one time and find out it's a skin diver.
Oh, skin divers. Oh my goodness.
God. So
I haven't seen one of those since the beginning of my.
Normally they're like a long kind of a foot under the skin, but a skin diver is a big round disc with a point on the end. And I was like trying to get it. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. So yeah, find your piercer at home. It does help.
Yes, it does. And we do our best whenever somebody is traveling to try and send.
Find them a home piercing shop if they don't have one. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's see. Silently Judging You says, yes, I got hit by a broom handle on a 3-day-old conch.
Oh.
Brutal.
I remember getting my nipples freshly pierced, and I got out of there, and that's when Rollerblade Ken came up. Rollerblade Ken had no brakes on his rollerblades, and he was always high on something, and he was like 6'4" redhead guy from the military, from the Marines.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and crazy. I step out of my car and he's like, stop me. And he just ran at my Yeah.
I love Scott. I love the people in Scott's stories.
Scott's stories are always with somebody with some crazy name. Crazy
yeah, it's
Shane,
always like Crazy
Rollerblade
Shane,
Ken,
Rollerblade Ken.
who was the other one, Fish.
Yeah,
Fish. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of names.
We need cool nicknames, Nova.
I have one. You guys need them? Yeah,
I don't have one.
That's so funny.
Rollerblade Ken.
Stop me.
Dude, he was always so high. It was so hilly, and like there's no brakes on there. And he just
Yeah. Was he also the punk guy that smelled super bad that you could smell like walking down the street?
No, that was Punk Rock Freddy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Another one.
That dude was ripe.
I love it. Piercing this industry is so funny.
He was like 70-year-old, bright orange hair, and if you were a block or two up from him and you were downwind, you smelled him. Your eyes just started watering. It's like onions.
Oh,
it was
Lord.
rough. And the dude super glued all his genital piercings in because he's afraid the beads are always going to come undone, and would show up with vice grips and say, "I need you to take my jewelry out. I need an MRI." Or like, no, dude.
Do it yourself.
God.
Dude,
So you want to be a piercer, huh?
Yeah. I can't imagine like the amount of stress I would feel if I was having to use vice grips to get off like
zero gauge PA that was just super glued in. Like, oh
No.
dude,
that's insane. So brutal. All right, moving on. We got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
John also said a gentleman should go in for a dolphin piercing. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Would love that.
I've never done a real dolphin piercing.
No?
No, never had the request.
Yeah.
That's about as rare as it gets.
Yeah, truly.
That's when someone has a Prince Albert and they have the Prince Albert stretched out to like a 2 gauge where you can put a receiving tube in the Prince Albert hole and go further down the shaft and do another Prince Albert where you do a U-shaped curved barbell. So it looks like a dolphin going in and out of the urethra.
Ah.
Yeah, they're really cool. It is not what people refer to as dolphin bites.
Yeah,
which I
not the
believe
same.
are like
that's two lip piercings.
Yeah, two
real
like
easy to
center
heal.
libret piercings. So
You didn't know that one?
No.
Dolphin? Yeah.
and John also said I had like a surface anchor in his leg for 8 years. So
Yeah.
they can hang on other
They can?
places. It's just not likely. Liz Jamie May
I had to take a
says
little break. My ears hurt
Yeah.
really bad. Sorry.
I was looking at the stones in your plug.
Oh.
Read your saddles.
Black pearls.
Yes, they're very nice.
I can't get over these.
right.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Liz Jamie May says, should I get more than one piercing in my ear at once?
You can get up to 3 or
Yep.
4. Depends on what it is. You can get I will do up to 4 piercings in lobes. And that would be like 2 on each side, not 4 in each.
Correct.
That would be a little excessive.
That'd be 8 total.
But 3 cartilage piercings at once, so you can get like a tragus, a doth, and a helix, or
Preferably on one ear.
preferably on one ear, so that they're all in the same general area and they'll heal up for the most part all together. Getting one on each side or something on each side, you then don't have an ear to sleep on. If you're a side sleeper, that's going to be problematic.
Yes.
What, you
I was
looking
just trying to lean. I'm like, how do I get that Las Vegas sign on the wrong shoulder?
It's actually funny that you
Everything's
mentioned that because the next
Backwards.
question is, what state are you guys located in?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
God, everything's just backwards. I'm looking up at a TV and everything's backwards. So you see where I'm pointing?
Yes, we are in
Las Vegas,
we're in
Nevada.
lovely Las Vegas.
Yay!
Sin City.
Yes.
Sin City, where we don't sin really. We just hang out and pierce and
Yeah, where we just
Maybe some religions
Maybe a
might say
little
this
bit.
is sinning, but
yeah.
less sinning, more citying.
there you go.
Lindsay, who was talking about getting into the piercing industry, said that I'm already a Scott stalker. Happy face.
Love that.
P.S.
Ooh,
just-
we should that should be like a really good name for like a fan page. Stalking Scott.
Yeah, there you go.
Stalking Scott.
Um,
Piercing education. Love
also
it.
had 3 sternum dermals previously.
Nice.
So again, it is possible. This is the part that I want to highlight, though. They said that I am undertaking a course and then working in a piercing shop as a newbie. I am in the UK too. So I want to talk a little bit about courses and about a lot of these piercing and tattooing courses that are coming out. They are a waste of time and money for the most part. There is no week or 2 week course that can give you all of the information that you need on
No.
piercing.
They should just be furthering your education through an
Yes.
apprenticeship.
Yes.
These do not replace apprenticeships, and they should say that right on the site. An apprenticeship is where you have a mentor, someone who teaches you hands-on on how to do this.
Yes, and I will also say that I personally don't know of any high quality piercers that are offering courses like that. That's not
No.
to say
There's no such thing as like a crash course like a body piercing crash course where you take this course for a week and it's like $1,200 or something like that. Do not waste your time or your money.
Yeah, there are some classes. I know like Ryan Ouellette has some classes on like doing specific piercings, but again, those are for people that have already gone through apprenticeship, who are doing the piercings actively,
who are just looking to further their education and their skills.
And even at APP every year, like for the Guiche class, the first thing Joeltron said is, by taking this Guiche class, that does not give you the ability to do one.
Right.
You still need to go through a high quality apprenticeship and be walked through it by a high quality mentor. So yeah,
there are decent seminars though. There are, but they're not apprenticeships.
Exactly.
Like the Fakir Intensives is incredible.
Exactly.
You know, it's a great course and it continues your education. I took these about 4 or 5 years after I've already been piercing.
I really want to take one. I think maybe we should look into it next year and do like a shop thing where we go and
that would be so cool.
No, one at a time.
One at a time?
We're not shutting the whole shop down. We can do a little bit at a time.
Yeah, okay.
And then that gives us room for a guest spot.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to go out there. I took the Fakir Intensives back in 97, and they said I might be able to sit in and kind of help either teach or watch the class and maybe do some video stuff. So maybe we can work out a time where you go take the class and
I would love to.
I'll go teach it for you.
Sweet.
That'd be so rad.
It would be like being here, but somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Having a bunch of senior piercers from all over the country and world like that, it helps so much. Different perspectives.
All right, I am going to scoot us forward.
Yeah, we're talking a lot.
we got about 5 minutes left and a lot of questions. So I'm going to start
speed round.
Yeah, we're going to do a speed round. I'm going to prioritize ones that people that haven't asked questions yet.
Cool.
Let's see. I think Fifi was asking any new tattoo or piercing projects. Also, there are some people trying to troll me for watching. I'm not sure why, but I love watching you guys. That's weird. But
yeah, that is weird.
They're probably lame.
Yeah. Tell them to watch us.
They might learn something.
Tattoo or piercing projects. I'm getting my high nostrils done and my neck tattooed soon, but that's about it.
I want to get my rook not re-pierced, but pierced. That's about it.
Do you have any quick ones, Kelsey?
I would like to get my faux rook done. I would really also like to bring my Christina back.
Sweet. I want to do that.
My Filtra. Or
you want to get your Christina or you want to do her Christina?
I want to do her.
I want to get my Christina redone.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. It'd be my first genital piercing.
I mean, the old fistula is still there. It needs to just be re-pierced. I'll just bring my jewelry in. We'll get it done.
Speed round. Next question.
Speed round. Justine Perez says, I have eczema and my piercer recommends to stop using sterile saline solution as it can cause flare-ups. Do y'all have any experience with this or any recommendations on what to use instead? It's just, they say I have eczema. And
legally, we're not allowed to pierce in skin area that is eczema or irritated like that. So if you have eczema in that area, that's going to make a very difficult healing process. Yeah. I haven't heard that it causes more flare-ups. It's a possibility, but you shouldn't be getting pierced where there's already eczema.
Yep, I'm skeptical I'm skeptical that the piercer said to stop using sterile saline solution as it can cause flare-ups, and if they pierced you in an area that has eczema, that is 2 red flags.
Yeah, 2 red flags.
I would consider maybe going to another piercer to get a second opinion. Really, the only things safe to heal with are sterile saline solution and hot water in the shower. But again, with the eczema, it doesn't work super well. Guillerme says, hey guys, I got a conch punch 6mm on Friday. Healing is a breeze. No blood, no crusties. Clean the outside. When will it be okay to remove the plug and clean everything properly?
I'd give it
8 weeks.
Couple months. Yeah, I was going to say 2 months. You should be totally fine. Just keep the crusties off there as best you can.
Awesome. Phil says, hey everyone, last live stream I was having trouble with big bumps on both sides of my 3rd lobe piercing. Nothing was working, and it was getting worse. I ended up taking it out and putting it back in to keep open once a day and just letting it heal the rest of the time. And once healed, I was able to put the jewelry back in, and it hasn't made bumps. Interesting.
Very interesting. I feel like that would irritate it more.
Yes, that leads me to believe that maybe it is the jewelry. So I would ask, is it made of implant grade titanium? Is it high quality? Because if the bumps were removed once the jewelry came out and then you put it back in, it could be that the jewelry is the issue.
Yep. Could be too big of a disc, too big of a ball, too long, too short. Could be the quality.
Yep. And again, highly recommend going to another
piercer.
Another piercer just to get a double look. Double checking. Second opinion. There we go. David's Baggy says, tongue piercing day 1. It's so hard to do anything with it. You'll get used to it.
Absolutely. It's so weird at first, and after maybe about 2 weeks, it'll become part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Part of you.
All right.
Part of you.
We got last question, I think.
Bring it on.
Sally C says, "Hey guys, good to catch you again. Back with my wonky nostril issue. I tried my septum piercing, piercer who I know is good. Tried both, but both were crooked. Need to try again. Weirdly now, I'm sorry, I'm struggling to follow this one. Tried my septum piercing. She said she has. I think it was that she had like oddly shaped nostrils or something.
Okay.
And that she tried a septum piercing. She went to a piercer who she knows is good. Tried twice, but both times were crooked. Is this you, Scott?
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Weirdly, I have bumps now. Is that normal while healing?
Bumps on the septum or the nostril?
Septum. I think there is no nostril piercing. They were just talking about the shapes of the nostril.
Okay. If you have bumps on your septum, either you're getting a lot of crusties pulled through and it's getting really, really upset and you need to clean it a little bit better, or when you had it pierced, it went through the cartilage. And that's typically when you see more bumps on a septum piercing, is when they hit all the cartilage. So if it hurt really bad, that's why it's going to take way longer to heal up.
Yeah. Oh, so I think that they have bumps even though the jewelry is not in any longer. I guess she's saying, how long should I wait before trying again? He was working to get the sweet spot. I don't think he hit the cartilage.
Okay. Massage it. Break it down. Like once the wound is healed up, massage it, break down the scar tissue, and generally after about a month or so, you should be totally fine. If you left the piercing in for a little bit, it takes a month or so for all that bump and whatnot to dissipate. But you want the bump to go away. Don't pierce it through that bump.
Yes, wholeheartedly agree. And as we had discussed earlier, septums are tough, especially with abnormally shaped nostrils. It's possible that it may take a few tries, but the fact that you're going to a piercer who didn't let you leave the first time is a green flag, I would say.
Yep. It's a very, very good thing. So yeah, Mederma, some sort of scar tissue remover, massage it, and once you're good to go ahead and get it again. Mm-hmm. And that is where we're winding it up today.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today, asking such amazing questions. We love you all. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like, hit subscribe, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. See you on the next video.
We are ended.